Scream 7 is finally here. I've been looking forward to this for 3 years. Scream 6 came out in 2023 and was so good that it made the wait for this 7th entry feel almost painful. There will be some light spoilers coming up, so beware. After some behind the scenes turmoil, which included a few director changes, a few cast changes, we finally get Scream 7, directed by Kevin Williamson and starring Neve Campbell. Williamson's return and Campbell's reprisal bring the heart and continuity that fans have been waiting for. Fans like me. I saw Scream 7 in theaters, and for the first time in this franchise, I walked away pretty disappointed. There are some solid moments throughout, but they're buried under some baffling narrative choices, and what might be the weakest Ghostface reveal the series has ever had, in my opinion. Scream 7 follows Sidney Prescott as Ghostface resurfaces and targets her and her daughter, dragging Sidney back into a nightmare she spent decades trying to escape. As the killings escalate, the film digs into the franchise's legacy and unresolved trauma, pushing Sidney toward another final confrontation with a past that refuses to stay buried. First, let's talk about what I did like. Sidney Prescott is back, which is a huge win for the franchise, and Neve Campbell is absolutely terrific in the role. This is honestly one of her strongest performances in the later sequels. She's a force of nature, and somebody that Ghostface should realistically probably fear at this point. Ghostface is back, and once again a brutal menace. The kills are vicious and inventive, with a few sequences ranking among the most gruesome and effective in the entire franchise. Kevin Williamson and his team put Ghostface to good use, crafting several intense, high-tension sequences where the killer is genuinely terrifying again, and the suspense really works. My favorite sequence in the film is the opening kills at the old Stu Macher household, which were featured in the trailers, so I don't mind mentioning that it's the beginning of the movie. The scene is tense, packed with effective jump scares, and feels very much in line with classic Scream. It's a strong, exciting opener, even if narratively it has very little to do with the rest of the story. So why did this movie disappoint me? It really comes down to who Ghostface is and why they're on a rampage this time. The reveals are confusing, underdeveloped, half-baked, and ultimately did not add up for me. Instead of feeling shocking or satisfying, the motive feels rushed and poorly thought out, which seriously undercuts the impact of the finale. I had the Ghostface killer, or killers, pegged the second they walked on screen. There's no real subtlety this time, just a few obvious giveaways that make the mystery feel way too easy. That's never really happened to me with this franchise before. I've had solid guesses in the past, but there was always tension and surprise right up until the reveal. One of the highlights of the series is the reveal, the Scooby-Doo moment. Here the mystery collapses pretty early, and that takes a lot of the fun out of it. There's also a sequence just before the killer reveal that brings in a bunch of legacy characters in a pretty silly way. It doesn't really add anything to the story. It comes across as the worst kind of fan service in my opinion. The reasons this new Ghostface is going on a killing spree are nonsense. Some legacy characters are brought back, and honestly the absurdity of including them could have been played up for fun, but instead the story goes in a more predictable direction. I'm not going to get into it much further than that, but it's a waste. Also, where was all the meta humor and references this series is known for? I can't really think of any standout moments like that in this movie. I'm racking my brain, but there's nothing like the Scream 2 opening, for example, where Ghostface is killing victims while the fictional version of the original movie plays right behind them in a movie theater. That kind of self-aware, clever meta storytelling seems completely missing here. This one just feels like a fairly well-made, generic slasher movie, which is not what the Scream franchise is known for. They set a higher bar than that. I'm giving this movie 2 stars out of 4. It's a misfire for me. I didn't hate this movie, but I really didn't like it either. I've had to mull that over for a few days because I'd been so looking forward to it. I love this franchise, and I didn't want to force myself to enjoy it, but after thinking it over, it's just really disappointing. And I'm kind of sad about that. It also had the biggest opening weekend in the franchise, and an 8th installment is basically guaranteed at this point. Here's hoping the next movie can refresh the series and bring it back to its former glory. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this kind of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Are you going to check out Scream 7? If so, let me know what you thought in the comments. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.